Hello everyone, my name is Kayla. I am a 4-year crocheter. I've wanted to learn since I was 14 and my parents bought me a kit. I had a hard time learning from trying to read a book. Of course, this was back in the time before the internet and YouTube and all that fun stuff. So I put it to the side, and 4 years ago, after I had my first daughter and my mother was diagnosed with cancer, I decided that I wanted to learn again. So I sat down with some YouTube and stuff, and I never really could find what I needed to help me. So this first video is just going to be a fundamentals of what we have here, and the different things I've acquired over time, bought on sale, whatever people have given to me or bought for me for holidays. So we're just going to go over that so you can see what all we have, and I'm going to kind of give some of my opinions on what I like best and what has been a good investment. First off, I'm going to go over some hooks. I have a lot of hooks, but I just pulled out a few. This first one is a size P boy hook. And I'm going to show you with having the bigger hook here. This here, we have different parts. But this hook, and I personally like the boy hooks or any hook that's like this. It has this tapered in here. So you can see it's kind of shaped. This here is a Susan Bates hook. And you can see that it's different here. It's a notched hook, is what it is. So that's notched. This is my original hook that came with that set I was speaking about earlier. And I have never liked using it. So it's the only Susan Bates hook I have, but I refuse to get rid of it because of its memories. But that is what that is. So that's why it's a notched hook. I personally don't like it. There's other people that like it, and that's fine. It's whatever you're most comfortable with. This hook here does not have any type of handle or anything on it. It's a K hook. There you can see better than notched. So that's what this one is. I have used it, tried using it again once I learned, and I still never did like it. But that is what that one is. This hook here, by rule of thumb, the larger your yarn or thread, whatever you're crocheting with, the larger your hook is going to be. So this one here I've used on t-shirt yarns, on chunky yarns. I can't even think what all I've used this on. I've not used it on too many things, but it does give you an arm workout, so you feel it the next day or over time. So there's those. Let me scoot things out of the way. This here is one that was made, I purchased and had made. This is a boy size I hook. This is my go-to hook for everything. I had it made for the cancer, for my mother's colon cancer that she had. But that was just my memoir, and since I was always crocheting all the time down there, it was something just to keep close to me. I love having the grip on it, the handle. The handle just, it relieves you from clenching your hand too tight, and you won't get so sore, and you won't be so sore the next day either. So that's what's nice about having the handles and like the ergonomic hooks and things. There's some different types of ergonomic hooks I don't even have. Here's another type of ergonomic hook. These are the Amore hooks, Clover Amore, and these really are my new go-to. Besides this one, I go to these ones. So it's got the rubber handle. This is a 7mm, and it's got a plastic head on it, and that's a little different, but it works really well. So that's what this one is. It has a different thing to hold it for. Here's another Clover Amore hook. This is a size 8. It has a cover on it because this is the one you use for thread. So you have this tiny, tiny hook there in the background. I've used this one a few times. It definitely helps having a handle on these little ones when you're working with them, because that is a lot of work. We also have wooden hooks. This is a bamboo hook. This is a notched one also. I do not like the way the bamboo works with the yarn. I feel like I'm all over the place. I'm not a fan of it. But I tried it, so that is my advice, to try a little bit of everything. And if you have somebody you know that crochets that has a little bit of everything for you to try before you find the one you want and buy, that's the best way to go. Or maybe you can find a crochet group or something in your community. But this here is a bamboo hook. This one's a 9mm hook. This here is another one of the Clovers. This is an H hook. H and I are going to be your most normal used hooks. So if you're wanting just to buy a couple to get started, I would recommend an H and an I hook. because that's what your patterns generally call for. Again, you can still see that we have the head like the boy hook and everything that I like. Now this last hook that I have here is called a Crochet Light. And these here I got into when I was, again, doing a lot of traveling and stuff, or with my mom and things, and I could still crochet while traveling. Again, we still have the tapered hook at the head. You have a little switch and turn it on, and then now you have a lighted hook. These are great to use at night, so I'm not going to lie, when I crochet in bed, my husband's not as agitated. I crochet in the car when we travel at night. I use this when I use dark thread because it's easier to find your stitches and where you're going. These are very nice hooks, very well to hold. Another thing I'm going to show you is how people hold hooks. Let me grab this one here. So you have two ways. There's people that hold hooks like a pencil and work, and there's people that hold hooks like a knife and work with it that way. I'm a knife holder. I've tried doing the pencil holder, but it really slows me down and annoys me, so I always do knife. My best friend that crochets with me, she is a pencil holder, and she has actually converted to the knife recently. Hold. So there's some different hooks for you to see. Next thing I want to show you is some stitch markers. I have this old big like safety pin looking thing that just comes unlatched. This is great when you have a larger project and you want to keep like the whole project on this here. I do have smaller one of these. I just grabbed this. I have this big old tin full of stuff in a basket too. So I just grabbed a couple things to show you. But there are smaller ones, but that's to hold, various stitches. You can always rig it up. I've seen people use bobby pins, hair clips. I've used safety pins, yes. You always have this, especially as a woman, you always have these. So it's nice because you can put it on there, clip it, done. Here, these are nice, easy little things. This is just a little plastic. The stitch markers come in handy when you're working in the round. That's more what this here is a stitch marker, but it will also hold your spot in your project. The stitch markers come in handy when you're working in a round so you know where to stop and start again. So you see I close that. Kind of works just like the safety pin, and it closes up. And this one here's another one I got when I got my from the same place I got this hook made. But I have this here. This one's an I. There's another one that says H. But this number or letter, it references what hook I've been using. So if I put it down and life's crazy, I have 2 little kids and just things going on, I pick it up, I'm gonna know which one I used. I always try to keep my hook with my project in their own separate bags, but things happen, and again, I have kids and they get curious. So there's another type of marker you can use. When you finish your project, one of the things you'll have to do is sew in your ends. And everybody hates this. It's just not fun, especially when you've done an afghan with lots of color changes. So we have the plastic needles, which work great. I started out using these, again, with my kids. That way, if they got a hold of it, I did not have to worry about anybody getting hurt. You can see me poking my finger. It does not hurt by any means. You also have the traditional that's used a lot in the plastic culture, too. Here's one. It's a rounded end. So, again, it still does not hurt when I poke on it. But I do have that. Sometimes the metal one works easier than the plastic one to get through the yarn and get it actually in between the threads. And this is by Clover. It came, I have the lid I already took off. But here's some different hooks that came with this. Actually, I think I've added hooks to it. So do not go by what it is. I know it came with this hook. So it's like a darning needle with the bent end. That way you can really get in between the different things. Different sizes, different widths. I like the nice wide eye on it. I can't really get it to focus to show you. But with yarn, it's nice to have that wide eye. So let's put these back in here. And then twist my cap on. The job's done. So there's that. This here, I have another Sisson Bates product. This is a gauge checker. So you'll see this whenever you read a pattern. You have a gauge. So you'll make a certain size thing and then you'll measure it and it'll tell you how many stitches are supposed to be in this measurement, and you'll have to do that, but that lets you know you're doing it right. I have tight stitches. I crochet very tight, so when I have those tight stitches, this is nice for me to go back and check to see if I need to go up a hook or what might be going on. These little holes here are so you can check the size hook you have. So like you can see it's too big there, too big. Just keep going down through here. Well, maybe. All right, there. So I got it in that one there. You don't see any extra light coming through. That's an eye hook. So if you do have one that's not, well, maybe not on there, you can check it. That says a 16, but I can't get a 16, this one here through that. So I'm not quite sure what size this hook is then. So this is a nice little gadget. It's not very expensive. It comes in very handy to save you time so you don't have to rip out your project or frog it, as we like to call it. So the next thing, here's a, I missed a needle here on my working area. Put that up. Now, the next thing that I have is our scissors. I have a pair of Friskers, because if you're going to have good scissors, you have good scissors, and I have them hidden away from everybody in my house. Because if you have good crafting scissors, you do not use them on paper and other things in your home. These are strictly for my fabric and things like that. That way they don't get ruined. I also like the Friskers because we have a lifetime warranty on them. Again, because I have children, this was a nice investment. This is a Clover thread cutter, but you can see the notches where you can use to cut your thread. I put it on a lanyard I got from Walmart. So that's nice. I can wear it around my neck so I'm not losing it in my chair when I'm working, and I don't have to worry about with the babies getting a hold of it, cutting up something or cutting themselves or cutting each other's hair, anything like that. So this was a nice investment. I love this. We'll not go back. And then the last thing I have here to show you for a project, well, next to last thing, is fray check. This comes in handy when you're doing different projects, especially if you're running close on your yarn and stuff. I like to use it when I use my thread projects, but it just takes a little dab of this on the end of it after you weave in your end, and it just locks it in place. It dries, it locks it in place. It's clear, so and it doesn't dry like glue hard, so you never know it's there. So this is a nice little project or item to come in. And also, when you do projects, and like my doilies and stuff, you need to block them. So you have your pins. I just use cardboard with the diaper boxes. I just cut those open, wash my project, and then pin it and starch it. So you have your little pins. That way they come in handy. So that's really right there is your essentials for crocheting outside of your yarn. Of course, it's kind of hard to crochet without yarn, huh? But we'll go over the yarn and things. I will be doing a video on how to on starting to crochet here maybe tomorrow. It's about bedtime for my little ones here. I know you've probably seen a hand or two in there. So I will be posting another video soon. We'll start doing the fundamentals of crochet. Here's your easy things to go with. Like I said, I recommend you try different hooks to see which one's your favorite. I will probably even try using a couple of the different ones to show you what I like and don't like and how it works. Thank you, and have a great night.